Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we have some spring lawn care tips, and we'd like to thank GEAUX360 for a 4-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. G360 likes our podcast, but doesn't like our beatbox intro and outro.
Yeah.
And we had that intro made for us by a beatboxer, so it's uniquely ours, which I think is pretty cool. My dad was a jazz musician, so when I was growing up, we always had jazz on all day at the house. And it really reminds me of a lot of the scat singing Dad would listen to from some of the jazz singers.
Do you want to know if I like it?
You like the intro?
Eh.
And we really appreciate any ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. I read an interesting article in Scientific American about grass in the United States. The first colonists had a hard time raising livestock on the East Coast because of the lack of pasture grasses. During the first years, livestock ate all the native grass, and many animals died from starvation. So colonists ordered pasture grass and clover from Europe. Along with all the good grass they imported, the U.S. got a lot of new weeds, like dandelions. They said by 1672, 22 European species of weeds were now in New England. In 1849, crabgrass was introduced to the U.S. as a potential forage crop for livestock, and now almost every state has crabgrass.
Bummer.
I spoke to Jonathan Green and Pennington this week. They both have top-rated grass seed and lawn fertilizers. They provided some lawn care tips. We
went on a field trip this week, too.
Yeah, went to a couple home centers.
It was very exciting.
I also spoke to performance fuel specialists. They have gas treatments, and they gave us some information to keep your gas lawnmower running better. One of the first things you can do for your lawn in early spring is to give it a good raking with a metal tine spring rake. The flexible metal tines are great for pulling up thatch.
What's that?
Thatch is an interwoven layer of living and dead grass shoots, stems, roots, leaves, grass clippings, and debris. If you have healthy soil with a lot of microorganisms, insects, and worms, thatch usually isn't a problem. If you have compacted soil, though, or high in clay, you can develop a layer of thatch, which can restrict air, water, and nutrients. When I spoke to Jonathan Green, they said raking in early spring when the grass and soil is dry is beneficial, even if you raked up leaves in fall. Raking in early spring will remove leaves that could cause bare spots. It removes dead grass, roots, and stems, lawn debris. It lifts up matted grass and improves air circulation. You don't want to rake when the soil or grass is wet in spring because it can damage new grass shoots. Some top-rated spring rakes come from Razorback. It's R-A-Z-O-R, capital B-A-C-K, Ames, A-M-E-S, Fiskars, F-I-S-K-A-R-S, and Seymour, S-E-Y-M-O-U-R. When I spoke to Jonathan Green, they recommended doing a soil test in spring to see what your pH is. They say grass grows the best when pH is 6.2 to 7. 7 is neutral.
Right.
Below 7 is acidic. Above 7 is alkaline. The USDA says soil microorganisms are the healthiest and most abundant when soil pH is 6.6 to 7.3. Microorganisms break down nutrients in the soil so they can be absorbed easier by your grass. Jonathan Green has a couple products called Magical Plus. It's MAG-I-CAL-PLUS. One lowers the pH of your lawn. The other one raises the pH of your lawn. So make sure you read the label. If you do adjust the soil pH with a product, make sure you follow the instructions. Changing the pH in your lawn takes months or up to a year, and you don't want to over-apply the products because you could damage your lawn.
Right.
Limestone is usually used to raise the pH, and sulfur is commonly used to lower the pH.
Good to know.
Some top-rated soil pH testers come from Mosser Lee. It's Mosser, capital Lee, Kelway, Kelway, A-Tree, it's Atree, and Lusterleaf, Luster, capital Leaf. When I spoke to Pennington, they said there are two main types of grass, cool season grass and warm season grass.
Mm-hmm.
Cool season grass is found in the northern part of the U.S. Kentucky bluegrass, fine and tall fescues, and perennial ryegrass are cool season grass. Warm season grass is found in the southern states. Bermuda grass, zoysia grass, and bahia grass are warm season grass.
You should have quizzed me to see if I can name them.
And spell them.
Yeah.
Pennington said in spring, if you have cool season grass, wait till you mow your grass for the first time, then apply a pre-emergent herbicide for crabgrass, and that's if you're not overseeding or repairing bare spots. If you're in an area with warm season grass in spring, repair damaged areas and overseed. The University of Massachusetts says crabgrass is one of the most troublesome weeds in a lawn.
Yep.
One crabgrass plant can spread out, producing over 100 new tillers, which is a new branch off the main plant that produces more leaves. And one crabgrass plant can produce up to 150,000 seeds.
Outrageous.
And the seeds can lay dormant in the soil for up to 3 years.
Unbelievable.
Crazy, huh?
Yes.
You want to control crabgrass before it gets a chance to germinate. It's much easier to kill crabgrass before it's fully grown. A crabgrass pre-emergent will prevent the seeds from germinating.
Right.
Crabgrass starts to germinate when the soil temperatures are around 60 degrees Fahrenheit for a week or longer. In the northern part of the U.S., the best time to put down a crabgrass preventer is around April 15th to May 15th. In the southern part of the U.S., you want to get a crabgrass preventer down around March 15th to April 15th for the best results. But there are a lot of new pre-emergent products that can be used later in the season, and they also kill other weeds or prevent other weeds from growing, small crabgrass plants, and other weeds. So read the label. Most products that prevent crabgrass from germinating will also prevent regular grass seed from germinating. So if you plan on overseeding or patching areas of your lawn, you wouldn't put down a crabgrass control. But read the label. There are a couple products that stop crabgrass from germinating, but they allow regular grass seed to germinate.
Space age.
Yeah. So there's going to be you're going to hear me say read the label a lot on this episode. If you're in an area with warm season grass, check the warnings for the types of warm season grass that might be damaged by the product. Rake and mow your lawn before you apply a crabgrass control, and bag the clippings. You don't want anything blocking the soil. For most dry or granular products, you'd apply it to dry grass with a spreader. You don't want wet leaves absorbing the chemical. After you spread it over your lawn, you want to water it in so it makes contact with crabgrass seeds, but there are different chemicals and different application instructions, so read the label. Pennington has a product to control crabgrass and fertilize your lawn called Pennington Ultra Green Crabgrass Preventer Plus Fertilizer.
Did you spell Pennington yet?
Pennington, Pennington. So their product will prevent crabgrass for up to 5 months, and it has a blend of fast release and slow release nitrogen to feed your lawn for up to 3 months. Jonathan Green has a product called Crabgrass Preventer Plus Green Up Lawn Fertilizer, and Jonathan Green is Jonathan, capital Green. Their crabgrass preventer prevents crabgrass seeds from germinating, and it will kill small crabgrass plants up to 4 weeks old, and it feeds your lawn for 3 months. Jonathan Green also has a corn gluten wheat preventer plus lawn food to prevent crabgrass, dandelions, and 25 other weed seeds from germinating. Corn gluten is safe around kids and pets. Make sure you read the application instructions. A university study I read recommends watering in corn gluten products with only a 1/4 inch of water and have no rain in the forecast. They want the corn gluten to bond to the weed seeds and not be washed off. And they say if you use corn gluten for 3 years in a row, you're going to get great control of crabgrass seeds in your lawn.
Cool.
We went to a couple home centers this week.
I was very excited.
And Scott's has a product called Triple Action Built for Seeding. It prevents crabgrass from germinating, but allows you to seed a bare spot or overseed your lawn. It won't prevent regular grass seed from germinating. It's a unique chemical, but it's not recommended for some warm season grass.
So make sure you read the label.
Right. Scott's also has a product just called Triple Action that kills weeds, it prevents crabgrass for up to 4 months, and it has a fertilizer, but it will prevent regular grass seed from germinating. They say don't seed, sod, or aerate for 4 months after application.
So read the label.
Yeah, so read the... Because they look kind of similar.
They look amazingly similar.
Yeah, so you see Triple Action, so read the label. Spectracide has a product called Weed Stop for lawns. It kills 200 weeds and it prevents crabgrass from growing. Spectracide is Spectracide. For some products that are crabgrass control only or pre-emergent for a few different types of weeds, you would water it in after applying it to dry grass. For many of the products that kill dandelions and other weeds, plus they prevent germination, you would put it on wet grass so that it's absorbed into the weed leaves, and then you would water it in the next day or so for the pre-emergent chemical to get into the soil.
So you should read the label.
Right. For most soil, except very sandy soil, core aerating your lawn will improve the soil structure and allow more air, water, and nutrients to get deeper into the soil. It breaks up compacted or clay soil and allows deeper root growth. A core aerator is removing plugs of soil.
Right.
You can rent a machine from a home center or a rental store, or you can hire a company to aerate your lawn. Jonathan Green recommends core aeration in the spring for warm season grass and aerate in early spring or fall for cool season grass. If you have compacted soil, you can aerate once a year. If you have healthy soil, you can aerate every few years to keep it healthy. And let the plugs just break down on your lawn after you aerate.
Right.
If you plan on renting a core aerator or hiring a company and you haven't done this before, call 811 or go to call811.com, and that's CALL, the numbers 811.com, and they'll come out and mark all the underground utilities. Some cable or internet cable can be very close to the surface, and don't forget about underground sprinklers or low voltage landscape lighting when you're core aerating. And after you core aerate, this is a great time to put down a top dressing or overseed your lawn. Top dressing is adding a thin layer of organic matter over your lawn. It's going to slowly work down into the soil over time, loosening up clay or compacted soil and improving sandy soil so it holds more nutrients and water for your grass. Plus, it feeds microorganisms and worms, which is going to make your lawn healthier and your soil healthier.
Right.
You can add an 1/8 inch up to a 1/4 inch of compost every year. You don't want to smother your lawn.
Right.
You can fill a wheelbarrow and use a shovel and fan it over your lawn and rake it in, or you can use a spreader or a compost spreader so it's applied more evenly. The company Landzy, it's Landzie, they have a compost spreader that you fill and then you just roll it over your lawn.
So this is going to take a couple years to see results.
Right. Overseeding is adding grass seed to your lawn, usually applied at about half the amount you would use for seeding a bare spot, so check the label. As most grass gets older, the rate of reproduction slows down, causing your lawn to get thinner and making it more susceptible to weeds. By adding new grass seed to your lawn every few years, you can maintain a healthier, thicker lawn.
So what, like between 3 and 5 years?
Yeah. Usually after 5 years, your grass doesn't reproduce as well.
Mm-hmm.
To overseed, clean up any debris and leaves from your lawn, mow your grass, and bag the clippings. You want the seeds to drop down and make contact with the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Apply a starter fertilizer. It's good for root growth. It's high in phosphorus. Water it into the lawn thoroughly with about an inch worth of water, and that's going to help germination. Put down your seed with a spreader, then water your lawn to get the seeds down against the soil. If they're not touching soil, they're not going to germinate. Then you want to mist your lawn 2 times a day for 2 weeks. You don't want the seeds or seedlings to dry out. Although too much water can prevent germination or cause them to rot, but too little will kill the seeds or the seedlings.
Tricky.
Check out our episode called Grass Seed for some tips on picking grass seed. Jonathan Green and Pennington both have top-rated seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Early spring and fall is the best time to overseed for cool season grass, late spring for warm season grass. If you're applying a fertilizer, Purdue University recommends fertilizing cool season grass in early spring and fall. Don't fertilize during summer heat. Fertilize warm season grass in late spring or during the summer when grass is actively growing. Every spring, you should sharpen your lawnmower's blade so it cuts your grass cleanly. Kansas State University says a sharp blade is important to prevent grass blades from shredding, and this causes the leaves to dry out, making them more vulnerable to lawn disease.
Mm-hmm.
For cool season grass, sharpen your mower blade at least once a season. For warm season grass, twice a season, because warm season grass is more susceptible to lawn disease.
Right.
To sharpen the blade on a gas mower, pull the spark plug wire so it doesn't accidentally start. Put the mower on its side with the spark plug side up for most mowers. Use a small piece of wood to wedge the blade and then remove the nut holding the blade. You want to clean and sharpen the blade and then use a balancing tool to make sure it's level.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure it's level because if it's not and it wobbles while you're using it, you can damage the bearings on your mower.
That's bad.
If you have a mulching lawnmower, clean the deck because a buildup of grass can affect the way the air flows and it won't mulch properly.
Mm-hmm.
You can also spray the deck with a silicone spray or a lawnmower deck spray, and that's going to help prevent a buildup of grass. Some top-rated lawnmower blade sharpeners come from Smith's, SMITHS, Lansky, LANSKY, AccuSharp, ACCUSHARP, and Sharpal, SHARPAL. There are also kits that you can get at like your local hardware store that has a sharpener that you can put on a drill and a balancing tool, and they both come in the kit.
Cool.
I spoke to performance fuel specialists. They're at pfs-pros.com. They suggest adding a fuel cleaner to your gas tank before you mow for the first time in spring, and then run that tank of fuel through the engine to clean out the deposits, and then do an oil change for the season. To change the oil, warm up your mower first for a few minutes, that way the oil will flow out faster. Remove the spark plug wire so it doesn't accidentally start.
Mm-hmm.
Remove the oil cap and your dipstick. For most mowers, you're going to tip it on its side with the oil fill tube down and the spark plug side up, but check your manual. You're going to drain this into an oil pan and then recycle the oil. You can go to an AutoZone or you can go online to earth911.com, and that's EARTH, the numbers 911.com, and you can find the closest place to recycle the oil. Most mowers will take 30W oil and around 20 ounces, but again, check your manual and check your dipstick. Too much oil or too little oil is a bad thing. Every season, besides changing the oil, replace the spark plug and the air filter for easier starting and better performance.
Okay.
Performance fuel specialists suggest adding a fuel stabilizer or a gas treatment to your fuel every time you fill up your gas can. And that's going to help keep your gas fresh. Most fuels start to oxidize after 30 to 60 days. Oxygen reacts with gas to create gummy residues, and it can cause a buildup of varnish and sludge, as well as a loss of performance. Fuel stabilizers are recommended by engine and engine manufacturers to protect the engine during the season and during the off-season. Ethanol is another problem with gas. When your gas can or mower sits for long periods, the ethanol absorbs water, and that ethanol and water mixture can separate from the gas and settle on the bottom of the gas tank, which makes it harder to start, and it's corrosive to your engine.
Bummer.
They recommend shaking your mower back and forth before you start it, especially if it sits for a while, to mix up any ethanol and water that could separate from the gas, which I think is interesting.
I've never heard of that.
They have a product called PFS Gas Plus. It boosts the octane, it helps remove water, and slows down the gas and ethanol separation. It is a fuel stabilizer that keeps your gas fresh for up to a year. It has a fuel cleaner and a lubricant to protect your engine from ethanol. Ethanol can corrode metal, rubber, plastic, and fiberglass. Don't refill your gas lawnmower while it's hot. Allow it to cool down for a few minutes. The vapors coming out of a gas can ignite and cause a gas can without a flame arrestor to explode in some conditions. In our episode where we talked about plastic gas can safety, we mentioned Christopher Alsip. He was a 10-year-old who died from a gas can explosion.
Yeah.
His mother has a public charity called the Legacy of Christopher Alsip Foundation, and that's the name of their website, the Legacy of Christopher Alsip Foundation. On their website, you can order t-shirts to help support their programs, and they have programs to increase awareness of the dangers of outdated gas cans without flame arresters, and Alsip is ALLSUP. The University of Illinois says mow your lawn to the highest suggested height for your type of grass. For cool season grass, that's usually around 3 inches tall. For warm season grass, around 2 inches tall. Taller grass is going to hold more water and nutrients. The roots are going to be longer. Longer grass is going to shade the soil to help regulate soil temperature and discourage weed growth. You want to mow when the grass is dry and only remove up to 1/3 of the blade length. And then mulch your lawn clippings and allow them to break down into the soil. It adds organic matter for better soil health. Vary your mowing pattern. Grass will stand up better and have better air circulation if you change the way you're mowing it, and you're going to have less ruts from the wheels. Most grass needs about 1 inch worth of water a week. So it's good to have a rain gauge,
right?
And see how much rain you get, and then supplement it with watering.
Do you have anything else to add?
We'd like to thank Jonathan Green, Pennington, and Performance Fuel Specialists for their tips this week.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 13 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter @FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fix It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.